Johnny from the Maryland Nuggets got a highlight tape off his training, and now mommy and daddy is showing it to everybody, but he trashed in the game.
Some misconceptions of what the role entails, and I don't know, I think maybe make some money off of it, or more so than ever, I'm putting money out.
Yeah.
You have quote unquote AAU. We have a team going to World Nationals this week, right? Yeah, it was interesting and it was fun. Something at school, we just made it was fun. The kids were learning. She worked on her skills with my husband. Might be a little bit different than the girls, like parents on the girls' side, like off the break, like, yeah, I want my daughter in the league. If they don't say it, they definitely acting like it.
Yeah.
like they want their kid to go to the league. The most challenging thing is really dealing with all of the feedback and interactions. They're joking about the admission prices. They're joking, The bigger picture is I feel that our community can eventually get priced out of sports, especially with basketball. And I don't even want to get into the middle school because that definitely doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if there's a middle school Hall of Fame somewhere. I haven't had a college coach ask me yet.
Who you with?
Game related.
Stay game related, man.
My man. Stay game related, man.
Stay game related, y'all.
Stay game related, man.
Stay game related.
Stay game related. Stay game related, man. The best in the business.
Game related. You gotta stay here locked in.
When you make it in life, you always want to give back. Yeah. Same what you doing right now. These kids
have faith, believe in God. Cool. Just put that work in.
Stay game related, man.
Stay game related, man. Listen, game related for sure.
My man.
Yeah, stay game related, y'all.
So stay game related.
Stay game related.
Stay game related. Game related. Stay game related.
Stay game related.
All right, stay game related.
Stay game related. Stay game related.
My man.
Stay game related.
Stay game related.
All right.
Stay game related, man.
Stay game related.
Stay game related.
Stay game related. All right, my man. Stay game related.
Stay game related.
Yeah.
Stay game related.
My man.
Stay game related.
My man.
Y'all better stay game related.
When the whole world be waiting for you, but if you want some local shit, you won't even know.
Welcome to Game Related, where we highlight opportunities and obstacles for former athletes with the thought process of giving future generations a better understanding about the game.
These conversations are meant to bring awareness to the hardships and the opportunities that come along with the game. Let's get game related.
All right, y'all, we back with another episode of Game Related, Season 5. We got Gina Wilson in the building. Very excited for this one. She's going to give us a perspective on the women's side with the AAU. And we're going to talk about just the evolution of women's basketball and what she thinks we can do to elevate it, a step higher, man. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, finally got this together. We've been trying to
get crazy.
Yep. So what I want to talk about first is just let everybody know your role and what you do on the AAU side.
So on the AAU side, I'm a basketball director, pretty much director of all the operations. Started way back 15 years ago with the Team Chaos. So kind of founded that on the boys side, and then went over to operations with DC Premier, and now doing girls since 2019 as operations. So no coaching. I only did that with my younger daughter when she was younger, but basically on the operations side is my role.
Okay. So break down what exactly you do in your role.
So everything from the organization schedule to our logistics to our travel to communicating with college coaches, advocating for the players, ensuring that we're providing all aspects in terms of their game management, but also helping them with skill training or giving them resources. Always staying sharp on top of what's the latest thing to help kids navigate through the process. Most importantly, I think as a director, empowering others. So empowering my coaching staff and staying really tight-knit with them. We have conversations, meetings to make sure that the coaches are, preparing the kids as well. So it's a role with many hats, multifaceted. Sometimes I'm, planning an event, and sometimes I'm at the event cleaning up. So the director wears all hats. And that.
So let me ask you this. I feel like nobody really, there's things that a lot of people on the outside don't appreciate about, things that you do. What's something that the average Joe Smo or average parent doesn't understand about, the ins and outs of your role?
So I think the first thing is that this is not my 9-to-5 job. I actually have parents said, wait, you don't get paid? No, my W-2 does not have anything basketball related on it. I'm in technology, engineering, program manager. So can use some of that detail-oriented type thing, the transferable skills to basketball. However, that's one of the misconceptions. And I spend a lot of time. So you would think that it is my 9-to-5 role, but I think that's one of the main misperceptions. Maybe some do. There are some directors that maybe that's all they do. But for me, it's managing time between, scheduling phone calls with college coaches, talking to parents, putting fires out, staying connected with the teams, the coaches, and things like that. So that's one of the things I think that people don't realize. And, it's a thankless job. It's a thankless job. So, there are some that, express their gratitude, but there are very few compared to, it's like, what can I get out the situation? Like, it's a taker type environment. You got to be kind of built for that. And for me, I don't take it personally because I feel like I know why I'm in this. I know that my passion is to empower and to help people, and also provide the young ladies with a good experience. So doing those things, I'm content, with it. But yeah, there's definitely like some misconceptions of what the role entails, and I don't know, I think maybe make some money off of it, or more so than ever I'm putting money out.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much a misconception, I believe.
It's funny. I got a real funny story. So when I first jumped in the AAU game, and just what your perception of AAU was completely off. So I was done a workout, and I had a parent ask me like, "Hey man, come on, you want to go get something to eat?" And so I'm like, "All right, cool. You go get something to eat, right?" So you buy all this food, right? I'm cool getting mine, right? But the check come, and he look at me like, "Yo, pull out that AMAX card that you got, with the program." And I was like, "Huh? What you talking about?"
If you can find one, please give it to me.
I'm like, "I ain't charged you for a workout, and now you asking me to pay for your food?" I was like, "Oh, it's not."
Yeah. And it's like those misperceptions come along with, okay, especially if you're associated with a brand.
Yes.
And I have to educate people all the time. The brand is going to provide an allotment and allocation for you to go to their events, right? So let's say I build our schedule out. Our schedule has 10 events. 3 of them only Under Armour. So do you think that matches up to what is going to take, for us to get to those other events, do warm-up events, pay for gym time, all those other operational costs and things like that. So I think that when people, especially if you were with the shoe brand back then, that they automatically think you just got a blank check, right? Or like you said, an Amex card, and you don't get either one of those. So if anything, you're trying to be creative while also be fiscally responsible.
Like you said, some thankless job. But I thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So let's talk about expectations of players and parents when they come to your program.
So expectations across the board, especially in this day and time, are all over the place, I feel. One of the things I think is key for us to ask is, what do you want out of this? What do you want for your child? We have these conversations early on, like when we're recruiting. We recruit kids, so we talk to parents like, what do you want out of this? Because sometimes what you're saying you want may not be in alignment with what we're providing or what we're going to extend ourselves to provide. One of the bigger things I focus on would be the experiences, setting the expectations. Okay, we're going to do this, and this. For example, we're playing on purpose, with a purpose. So if you're coming in the door, especially like if you got like a 6th grade kid or 7th grade kid, you won't play every weekend. This might not be the program for you because we want you to develop, get better. It doesn't, so I think the question is asking the question back to the parent, what do you want out of this for your child?
Mm.
And, usually you'll get the response that I want my kid to get better. I want him to develop. I want exposure, which I've erased out of my vocabulary. I've changed it to opportunity.
Okay. I like that.
I like that too. I definitely like that, every weekend it won't be a tournament because we need to develop. We need to work on the fundamentals. We need to get better. And then now you just see a lot of injuries and stuff going on in basketball. So sometimes it just be a little overkill when we play every weekend, and some kids playing with multiple teams and they playing. So it's just.
Yeah. It's like, hey, we want them to stay busy. This type of basketball, and it's like we're on a high level. I feel like our program, we're high level. Once kids are going, Division I, playing professionally, this matriculates to a higher level. So when you look at it, even from the grassroots level, you have to take a look and understand like what's going to be the long run, and so you don't want to have that burnout. You don't want to just be playing unnecessarily. You want to make sure you incorporate recovery and rest. Training, being a kid, I told a parent, I said, we're not playing like, I don't know, take them to the library, take them to see grandma. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's something else. Yeah, we're not playing this weekend. No, we're not.
Do you think it's fair that AAU gets a lot of blame, or was with the trickle down of players or trickle down of, just this, I guess, AAU culture is just get a bad name? Like, do you think that's fair?
I don't think it's fair, and there's two parts. One, I think that we probably need to stop saying AAU.
Mm.
And shout out to my girl Melody Britt that actually is running AAU. She's one of the commissioners there, because that's its own entity.
Okay.
And what 90% of what people are doing now is really travel / club, circuit,
Right.
shoe sponsored, things like that. However, in the context, I know what you're saying in terms of AAU. I think it gets a bad rap because there's so many different, all the things I just named. You got shoe circuits. You have quote unquote AAU. We have a team going to World Nationals this week, right? And then you have all these other leagues that are coming about, and you have even more shoe brands. So like you may have had maybe 2 or 3. Now there's another 2 shoe brands doing things that weren't maybe doing things that 5 or 10 years ago. So I think it gets a bad rap because of all of the different things that are going on in each platform, maybe.
Mm.
And now it's become like the catchphrase to say AAU this, AAU that.
Mm.
So it's just putting it all in one category.
Yeah. One person that one element that I don't think gets enough blame is like media. I think we have created a highlight culture, right? Where we focus on guys in layup lines, for guys talking to each other or smiling, right? Instead of focusing on, a hustle play or, a good ball movement, good team action, right?
Yeah.
And it's very much me. And that turns into likes, views, right? And then what happens from it? The kids see that, and then they think, well, that's what's going to get me, online, right? And like, I don't know, it's just, I feel like we are stuck in trying to make kids celebrities versus making them ball players, right? Where, if you just look at the NBA, the last, 7, 8 MVPs been from overseas. And it's because they come in there hungry. You know what I mean?
Now all the fluff.
Their farm system or whatever they're doing, like those guys that are super nice, those girls, I guess those girls that are super nice, they're playing with men or women early on. So like there is no thing of, I guess, being celebrated because you're not good enough. You know what I mean? So like they keep them hungry where, now with NIL and everything else, like, yo, you could come out of high school and your hunger gone because you got everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is kind of go back to just kind of like respecting the game. You know what I'm saying? They just feel like the overseas or European players just respect the game a little more than we do over here. And then when you said with the social media, and I think that goes into wanting to keep playing more and more tournaments. Now let's get more stuff I get to post, so I get to get more players to come to my organization. And like, I mean, far as playing every weekend, it should really just be the most important tournaments we gonna get the best opportunity, right? We should prepare for the best opportunity, so then when we here, then we, you know, we can showcase and be our best at the proper time. So
Absolutely.
but I know you talk about being a director, and then the only time that you was coaching is when you coach your daughter. So how was that experience? And how did you help her how to navigate her career?
It was very ad hoc. She actually started playing at Laurel Boys and Girls Club when we had moved to Maryland, and they had some coaches there. It was just kind of like volunteers, so kind of help out at practice and things like that, really just having the ball in her hand. As she got a little bit older, you know, she was recruited by then the AAU team, so I was like, you know, that's not my league. I just want to help with direct kids. We did something in Howard County one time, I think at like, I don't know if it was like the Y or something like that. She was like 5 years old.
Okay.
So it was, all parents were probably coaching or doing things like that. And I just knew from playing because, well, you know, I was a point guard. One thing is she was 5. I didn't know what position she was going to play. I mean, she's 6'2" right now, so she ended up becoming a forward. But yeah, it was interesting and it was fun. It was almost like when you're subbed in or something for something at school. You know, we just made it was fun. The kids were learning. She worked on her skills with my husband, more so like outside in the park, rec center, you know, you name it. Like, that's where she worked on her skills. But the coaching part back then was just kind of fun. Wasn't my niche, though. It wasn't anything I wanted to. I don't think my patience was. I don't think my patience would have took me to like a higher level with it. Although now, I don't know, maybe.
How was the car ride home?
So back then it was just cool. It was fun. You know, it was like you're learning how to play. It's not serious. You know, we had a joke and we say, hey, you know, we always gonna get ice cream. You just can't get sprinkles. If you lose, the sprinkles are for winners. You know, so
I like that.
yeah, she had this thing, and you know, I'd buy a pack of Skittles before the game, and that it's funny. The Skittles thing took off all the way to like high school. She wanted a pack of Skittles, so we kind of made that exchange fun. I think it probably got a little intense once like high school. You know, then I'm like, boy, we're having this conversation. She don't want to hear it. She does not want to hear it at all. But I would say like Tatiana was a very hard worker. You know, she was a late bloomer. So there was a lot of times where, you know, especially being the tallest kid and tallest girl, you know, they want you to, you know, be on the block, on the post. And so she had to be patient because what my husband was training her was like everything. You know, he was like, she was doing left hand stuff. Even though she's right-handed, you know, fishing on the left, which she still can do at a very early age, just the fundamentals.
Yeah.
So I would say when we really want coaching is really like kind of just getting a foundation set. Is what's important.
Okay, but you know, as you was talking about being a director, just, you know, wearing all the hats, how did you balance the you know, the 9 to 5 was the engineer, and then you got the director job, and then still the family, and like.
So it's tough. It's tough. I will say what keeps me balanced with everything is thankfully like I have a way of compartmentalizing everything and kind of schedule, and that's that like program management, that's the engineering side of me where I'm really detailed. So scheduling things out. You know, when there's conflicts, of course, you know, seeing where I can make things work. Families first before, everything else. And I will say I'm really thankful, even with my 9-to-5 work that I do, it has the same structure, has the same values of family being first and having the time to take off. I volunteer a lot, not only just as a basketball director, but I sign up and do things to feed the homeless and clothing shelters and all that. And the good thing is, like, my job actually gives me the time to do those things.
Okay.
So shout out to that, because a lot of people are like, I love doing this, but I still get the time to do it. Sometimes we get some community events that are baked into, my 9-to-5. So it's just one happy thing. I'm stepping out. I have some things going on the entrepreneurial side too. So everyone's like, "Are you crazy? Like, you got, do consulting, 9-to-5, go be a basketball director, you're a parent, you're a wife."
Branda, ain't nothing wrong with that.
I'm just grinding. I'm thankful to God. I'm just thankful to God.
So with DC Premier, so how was it dealing, or what's the difference, or if it was dealing with the boys, and then now dealing with the young ladies?
So a lot of the times people would say, "Oh, boys and girls are different. It's different." But the operation side of it is really the same. And I would say also too, especially with DC Premier, working operations with Damon Handon, it really helped me know what I wanted to do as I moved into the girls space. He was actually the first one who gave me an opportunity. I was like, "Hey, I think one of our girls." He was like, "Yeah, a lot of people said they want to do it, Gina." Like, "Go ahead, you got it." So with his support, Big Moves, Mike Sumner and Eric Mose, those are my guys. They be like, "Hey, you got it. We're not going to get in your way. But at the same time, if you need help, we support you." And it was a good way to get everything set up operationally. So on the side of comparing my boys to girls, the only thing I think, which is a big difference that we talked a little bit earlier about, is when boys get into it, those parent expectations starting off the gate, so might be a little bit different than the girls. You don't get a lot of parents on the girls' side, off the break, "Yeah, I want my daughter in the league." But on the boys' side, if they don't say it, they definitely acting like it, they want their kid to go to the league. And so those expectations splash with a little bit of entitlement there, come in, and it's tough to manage. And when with premiering at the top kids, they still do. We have top kids, in the country. I think at one point, I know when at eighth grade, the team was top 20 in the country. All those kids are every single last one of those kids in Division I. And so it's a lot of managing
Egos. I'm gonna say you ain't got to slide.
The management of egos, the kids, and then a lot of times the kids are great. It's a lot. I don't know. It's like a lot maybe riding on it on the boys' side sometimes, maybe with family or the parents and stuff like that. On the girls' side, like I said, those expectations out the door aren't there. So it's not. Girls basketball is in a space right now where they're coming in and I want my daughter to be in a WNBA. They're not. They might feel it a little bit. It's nothing wrong with aspiring with that, but they don't work day in and day out. Or I would say work day in and out, but they don't act in a way that they're looking at that, and they haven't even achieved some of the things that get before it. So that was basically the difference. But again, I learned a lot, especially with the, college coach conversations and camp and, the ranking stuff and all those other intangibles that come along with the operations. And I think I learned a lot from that. And, salute to those guys that actually, trusted in me to do that. And so that's what I would say the difference is.
Okay.
I'm curious, so being a director and just kind of all those different hats and everything that you talked about, right? And we went and interviewed a couple athletic directors, and everything that you just said kind of fits the bill for that. Was that something that you think you might want to do in the near future?
If they can match an engineering system. I spend money way too bad. No, on a serious note, It really is a role that for college athletic directors, high school, even private programs, are doing the same work, but I'm just doing it for free and volunteering. So who knows? I like the space that I'm in right now, and being able to, I can flex my time in terms of the volunteer side, whereas that might take on a different role, make my life maybe not as flexible. Doing that as a full-time thing. Have a marketing background too, so you never know. Still kind of young, I think.
Wow, you definitely
You never know.
Look here. Okay. So let me ask you this. Do you think rankings actually matter? What's your thoughts on that? And how do you tell, parents, like, hey, some parents might be like, well, this kid was ranked 75 and my daughter hasn't even been ranked. How do you navigate that conversation?
So I don't think that rankings matter. However, I'm cognizant to know that they do have a certain pool in particular.
As far as
spaces, recruiting, USA basketball, some of those things are going to go off the strength of those rankings. Now, where I say it doesn't matter overall is because there's a ton of kids that weren't ranked that play professionally. I saw it even, on both sides. I saw even some guys at DC Premier, guys in Thrill, like it may not have been ranked early on and or had like a lower ranking, and then now they're, they've achieved their dreams. So I feel as though like this overall, if you're ranked, use it to the best of your ability. It's like a Google review, right?
Yeah.
So if you got the 5-star, your business could be flourishing. When they pull up those reviews, as soon as someone looks at your name, they're going to see that, and that's going to help for some opportunities that could come your way. And then in the same token, if you're not ranked, you have to keep the main thing. So how I feel like the work is going to always show. You can't duck that part. Like you can't cut corners. And some people, as they come along, even on those rankings, and start cutting corners, other rankings drop, where you get somebody to come out of the blue, 10, 15, 16-year-old, like, who was this kid? Well, this kid was never ranked in middle school. And I don't even want to get into the middle school because that really doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if there's a middle school Hall of Fame somewhere. I haven't had a college coach ask me yet, like, what a kid did in middle school. Now we got a bunch of middle school kids that are really good. Like we just, won Under Armour finals for the middle school kids, US Open. There's a bunch of middle school kids. So it's nice things to do, but no one's going to ask us about that when it's time to go to college.
Especially in today's climate, man.
That's a fact. So let me ask you this. Just talk about the women's game in general, right? The WNBA. I love watching women's college basketball. You know what I mean? Just talk about your thoughts on it, where you think it needs to go, and what needs to happen for it to continue to grow.
I think that the women's game is in a good space right now, and it exponentially grown from, what I'm thinking about looking like 10, 15 years ago, things like that, where women weren't even aspiring as much for the WNBA. Or if they did, they were looking at the salary like, I could be a bank teller too.
Right.
No disrespect, but that's just where it was. I think it has some room for improvement, and I think that what's going to catapult that will be additional sponsorship. I do like to see that on the men's side, especially like in the NBA, that guys are, showing up at these games. Even if they're retweeting or posting about it, it engages a crowd that maybe was not engaged in women's basketball, but maybe, say LeBron James, put something out that, he reaches a bigger audience for the women's platform. I think there's really some cool stuff going on right now. I think Angel Reese is killing it. She's doing a lot of things on and off the court on the business side. I think are so savvy.
Do you think it's a distraction, or do you love it?
I love it.
Okay.
Love it. I would say I love it for her because, you know, and let's just say we compare it to the guys, you know, they have their business ventures or doing their things, but a woman is doing it. And so, oh, she's doing too much.
Yeah.
Or, you know, why is she that and this? And why do we have to be siloed?
Yeah. I love how outspoken she is on the podcast, and she's definitely created ways. And I think she's embraced the role of being the villain, you know, and she doesn't mind it because she knows she's moving the platform forward.
Yeah. But who's really the villain?
I don't think she, you know, I'm just saying social media make her out.
Right. I think the social media is the villain. And,
Yeah,
For sure.
100%.
But she's been Reebok.
Yeah.
She was Reebok. Yeah, because I was watching the show with Shaq and Iverson. They trying to rebuild it. And I saw her on the show. So
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so who are some of your favorite players to watch? College and pro.
Oh, yeah. So, pro, I like watching Chelsea Gray.
Okay.
She's a coach, and I like watching her. Definitely like watching Angel. I will also say, contrary to the conflicts, Caitlin Clark was good to watch. You know, in the college days, I really liked watching her in the college days. WNBA days,
No, you don't like watching?
I like watching her.
That's a no.
I thought she was more exciting in the college space.
Okay.
But I mean, you can't say that to, you know, for an organization because she's selling the tickets. So she's definitely good to watch and she's a hell of a player. I just feel it was something in that college realm with her that just had that extra spice.
Yeah.
And maybe because it was almost like an underdog mentality, you know, from the program she was playing with, and she had to go up against the big dogs, you know, going against the South Carolinas. I like watching it. I'm really on the college side, like watching more college women's basketball than the WNBA. I catch some, but on the college side.
So is Malaysia Wiley gonna make a big difference with LSU this year?
Oh, listen, for Wiley is definitely gonna make a difference. I mean,
So they going to the ship?
definitely.
they got a chance, yeah. And South Carolina is my favorite
Okay.
because I just like I love the way Dawn manages everything there. She's a good friend of mine also, so you know I'm always gonna root for the Gamecocks.
Uh-oh.
But I would say that it's definitely Final Four-ish for Wiley. Like she's like to watch her, and I'm watching her in college. That's when like watching the college games and watching her play and the things that she does put you in awe. You know, it's like, and to compare on the men's side, you know, when you're watching, you know, obviously you're not gonna see women dunking every 5 minutes, but the things that she's doing to get to the basket and her ball handling, very crafty. I just like watching that. It's entertaining.
And
I like that guard.
I think it's Notre Dame, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I see her.
Oh, Eldado or
Yeah.
yes. I went to Notre Dame game back in February live and the color right there, and I will tell you that that girl can play.
There she can.
She played D too.
Yes.
She played.
Yeah.
All right, so who you picking, Hannah or Malaysia?
Man, that's tough. I'm gonna have to go Malaysia.
They,
I had to go Malaysia. That's tough though. I mean, they both can get a bucket. They're flat out. They can score. You know, they can shoot, get to the cup. I mean, who's defending them? Tell me who's defending them, and tell me who, like.
Exactly, right? In this. So, all right, so one of the biggest things that NIL, what's your views on NIL and how it's kind of changed the landscape of basketball?
I think it's a good thing. It definitely needs some guardrails. And I think whether it's the next couple of years or so, some other parameters will be in place. But right now, it's just so wide open.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity, you know, when you look at it in a sense of a business perspective. So for me looking at it as a business, why not take a chance on this young kid that can help build my brand and then also put some money in their pocket, right? And then overall, why not allow these athletes to have a source of income, the things that they can invest? What player was it? Coach Flage, when she said she bought houses, she was doing that before she went to the WNBA. Like she was investing her money. And so the only thing, on the flip side of it is that there's definitely needs to be probably more financial management and financial literacy involved in the process. But I think the NIL itself is a great thing to have. I mean, we have high school kids that have been offered NIL. And so it's an opportunity for them to make money.
Question. So without getting too deep in one of your players' business, right? You had a young lady who was at UConn this year, right?
Yes.
Like how did y'all help her navigate through that NIL situation, or was y'all just not even involved in it?
So more so was having communications with the family, and she has a great family. Mom and dad are wonderful. If I could have 10 of them, I would. I mean, they're really, really good people. And so without really getting into her decision making or business, it was more so helping to educate. So I felt like another role that I have is just to help educate our parents. So it was no different with her than anyone in terms of, okay, this is what you need some help in or some education in. Here's some resources that I have. So in this particular case, I had some resources that I could speak to them, and they have a conversation and help them navigate the process and things like that. They did their research. They had other people that they, talked to and things like that. But just from a program perspective, it was being able to provide resources. So when I be able to provide resources, so when I have other young ladies that come up through the pipeline that also have NIL opportunities, I know what resources to kind of get them to. That way it kind of keeps me in it but out of it. Right. So it's definitely their decision and things like that to make, but you want to just help get them in the right direction because it's a big space and you can get lost in it. I feel with NIL, like I said, there's no guardrails right now. She luckily just signed with a group that's going to help navigate that space for her.
Okay. What guardrails would you like to see in it?
I think, when it
can maybe transfer portal too, if you want to add both of them in there.
Yeah. So I think in the NIL, the collective, the transfer portal, like these are all intertwined things that the first guardrail would be setting some type of guidelines between transfer. If you're going to get X amount of dollars and then you're going to transfer, then some of that either does not go to you or it's payable back or things like that. So that institution can then have the funding for the next player. Because what's going to happen or what could be happening now, I'm not for sure. You certainly have programs with more money than others, right? So let's just say you got a mid-major program that really went all out for this player and they gave him the bat, right? As they say, they gave him the bat. That player leaves, goes to high major. Well, this program, they exhausted, a lot of what they had, and how do they recoup that? Or, how do their boosters and things like that then feel as, future investments and things like that? Because they're like, we will invest our money, but that player might leave and go, so I think that's one guardrail, maybe setting some limitations to the money and the time and things like that. I also think that in the transfer space, I like the fact that they can transfer from, they put with no guardrails on that because coaches can certainly change their job year from year. But, maybe there just needs to be some more guidelines to what's written as it pertains to what they're receiving on that, and so it make it fair for everyone.
Okay. All right.
I think fast transfer for that it should, or like when the kids or the athletes go to the student, it should be like 2-year admit or something like that. We can't just jump right away.
Yeah. Make you think about it a little bit.
Yeah. Make you think about it and just just to have some commitment to really stay there and grind, because when you do make it pro, you're not going to pay the balance like that, right? You will have to stay there and make it. So, that's something that I wish they would kind of team the guidelines. But another thing that I was curious, throughout you've been in the game for a long time, something was so of your most rewarding times and some of the most challenging times.
I would say the most rewarding time, and it's every time I'm able to turn on the television and see these kids play.
Yeah.
Like, it's just rewarding. Like, I will say one of my, I don't have favorites, but Ty Skinner, and like seeing her journey, how she's now at SMU. She just had transferred from Arizona State. Prior to that, she was at Delaware. But I mean, this kid is 5'5" on paper, and it's just so rewarding to see her dream come true. In a sense, like, she's already defined the odds. She's already, just persevering through a number of things. She had an injury. So I think one of the rewarding things is really seeing their journey. So if a kid is playing with us since, middle school to high school, you see them in college, and you see that journey, is rewarding in itself to see them winning on the other side. And not just in the sense of game or money or anything like that, but just the fact that they're reaching their goal. It's very rewarding. That's why I do it. The goal is 100% scholarship at 17U. So whether you play with us in 6th grade or whether you just came to play with us, starting at 10th, 11th grade, trying to get you to college. And that's the most rewarding thing. The most challenging, to save that for last, the most challenging thing is really dealing with all of the feedback and interactions, mostly via the parents. So, that can be challenging at times because, again, and I learned this later on. So I will say early on, starting out as a director and managing operations, stuff like that, was kind of more, I was so like, just wanted to please everyone, people pleaser, and, hey, well, you're not happy, how can we? And now it's like, I set the expectations. We're doing X, Y, Z. Just like we said, your kid has scholarships on the line. We're meeting the goal. We're actually exceeding the goal. We're at the goal. What else do you have a problem with? And if there's a problem, if it's something that we can resolve, I'm not spending a whole bunch of time talking about the problem. So that's the challenge, because it's a lot of times people want to go back and forth, and it's like, okay, I understand. All right, let's fix this. And sometimes, whether it's coaches, whether even myself, we might get something wrong. Okay, let's fix this. It's not to sweep under the rug, but it's more so to shift the focus on understanding, what issue you might have, and let's kind of moving on. And I think the challenge, my personal challenge with it, that I'm getting better at, which is it's going to maybe come out the right or wrong way, but I think I care too much. I think I care too much. I think some of my counterparts don't care, as much as I do. I'm not saying that they don't, but I think, so like you got a kid that, play with program, and you kind of see him going through that journey. Like, yeah, I want to see him at the end point, and, other programs calling to grab them, and, it's expected. Like I told my player, I said, they're supposed to call you. Right? Especially in our area where we got 1 million AAU teams, and we put shoot circuits. Another discussion for another day.
Right.
So it's challenging because you care and you start to build these relationships, and it's nothing fake or phony. So if I rock with you, and I rock with you like I want to help and do for you like I would my own kids. In fact, I'm sharing some of the experiences that I know not as a parent to help you as a parent. Take the director hat off. I'm helping you navigate through these things that that I've gone through on every level. That's the challenge. It's just that, like, sometimes you can't please everyone, and you still got to keep pushing forward for those that you can help and still want to, basically I feel like it's a lift as you climb type. So as long as I keep climbing, getting more resources, knowing more knowing more things, different situations, can lift someone else up.
I love that answer.
Yeah, I feel like, we get a lot. The parents, like, I'm thinking they should be like, they need to have breakfast seminar where all the parents need to come and they need to, some type of etiquette or just, inform them on information so they can, because, we get a story where parents just kind of mess up the opportunity for the kids or the recruitment spots because they don't really like the parents.
Yeah. Oh, these coaches aren't playing these days. Like, I've had coaches call me and say, hey, I really like so-and-so. But I saw the parent, it's a no-go for us. Like, and I'm like, it's nothing I can do because I'm not losing my credibility as I say something else. You saw it with your own eyes. And those situations are happening, and it's unfortunate. And like you said, the seminar, we do a team retreat every year, and part of that, I'll bring someone in, and I welcome the parents to stay, because I'll usually bring folks in that can educate and give some guidance on some of that etiquette, the guidance just on the whole process with NCAA, just a lot of different things, but they do talk a little bit about the etiquette. One year brought in Mark Russell, that's Messiah Russell's dad, and so my husband had coached Zion. My neighbor was in middle school. He played for Premier. So we built a really good relationship with the family. And,
here's Niagara, right?
Yeah, he went to Niagara. He just graduated. Yeah.
Transferred to D Suite.
Yep.
D Suite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, here you have a parent that's not only had multiple kids playing athletic sports, his daughter's an Olympian. And he spoke to the parents. He, said a lot of different things like, look, you're a kid and you can be a reason why. And I would thank him for that because, and I'd like to do more of that and helping to educate our parents because it is education.
Mm-hmm.
It's education. I think some of the stuff we can get a hold of, especially with our community and just being educated.
Okay. So let me ask you this before we close out with our last question. Is there anything that you want to talk about that we did not go over?
So one thing I would talk about is I feel like the AU travel club, all of that, in today's climate, I think some kids are getting priced out. And I think it's a conversation that people aren't talking about. They're joking about the admission prices. They're joking, there's these, I watch all of the memes or, it's not really even a joke. I saw one where a parent walked in with the referee shirt, so I'm not, but even though it's a joke in that space, the bigger picture is I feel that our community can eventually get priced out of sports, especially with basketball, because we're setting a standard almost that your kid should be going to training and you should be paying for a trainer and at early ages and things like that. And then there's just, again, building out a schedule that makes sense, that has a purpose versus, okay, you're going to have these parents spend thousands of dollars to go somewhere every other week and it makes no sense.
Yeah.
So those are the things on the operational side that can be managed. But then on the other side, as a community, we're getting priced out because things are just getting tougher, I think, for the community. And one of the projects that I'm working on is a foundation, Chaos Foundation.
It's good.
That's going to help for sports with resources, not just financially, but some other pillars just helping make sure that kids don't get priced out of.
That's crazy. I've heard these quite a bit. And I think Sam Brand, when he was on the show, The Sanctuary, he was talking about how we are getting priced out. So it's two things, right? I think what you said about training and playing all over the place, right? But the other piece of that is like parents have to learn how to say no. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to do every single little thing. You know what I mean? I feel like we get so caught up in chasing after somebody else what they're doing that we feel like we need to do that to keep up. When if you really stay with your lane, like some of y'all shouldn't even be on no teams yet. You know what I mean? Like you should just be working out and getting better. You know what I mean? And that goes into bringing the community centers back. You know what I mean? So then you just have a space where kids are just playing for fun and not necessarily, you know, trying to work on their game because they're not ready to get to that point.
Yeah, just the fundamentals. Like when I was at the gym, at the Y or the little boys and girls, my daughter, we're just working on the fundamentals. I know I can teach you that. I don't need to pay anybody to do that, or these kids going outside to, you know, actually play. And I know people talk about that all the time. They don't go out and, you know, to the parks and play and things like that. But those are the things that are free.
Yeah, it's free. It's funny. The post, one of the posts on our page that went the craziest is when we said, if the parent wanted more than the kids, it ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? And like, this is one of them times where, you know, parents gotta kind of like be real about where their kid is and like make a real educated decision versus sitting there saying, I'll give you an example. I had a lady come talk to me about their kid, and I was like, you know, they're 15U and they're trying to figure out where they at. Maybe just take a break from AAU this summer. You know what I mean? And just get in the gym and kind of see where you at. Because like you're telling me you're in Houston, you're telling me you're in Kansas, you're telling me you're in New York. And I'm just like that's a big bill. And y'all not sponsored, right? Like, so you paying all of that out of pocket. And I'm just like, all that money can get invested into something else, right? And for whatever reason, we feel like we got to keep up with the Joneses and do what everybody else is doing. Everybody's journey is completely different.
Well, and then that segues to, you have a kid that's on, say, you know, the Maryland Nuggets. That's my team that I make up.
Okay.
So I don't say anybody.
Okay. All right. I was like, who's the Maryland Nuggets? That dad show was like, it's the Maryland Nuggets.
And it's a kid that's on the Maryland Nuggets. And they probably can play for, say, a Thrill or, you know, but they're on this team traveling, doing all this stuff and don't even realize like that there's no purpose in some of the things they're doing. They just have a schedule and they're just playing here. Oh, the entire thought process of you're going to be seen if you're supposed to be seen. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You're playing all these different, like you said, spend all this money playing all these different places. There's no rhyme or reason as to why you're going to these places. So the parent should then ask when they do the schedule, you know, for those teams, why are we going here? Is it the live period? Okay, yes. Well, there's 4 live periods. So but we're playing 20 events. Like it can be a little bit too much. Whereas like when we structure ours, we had 4 live periods. So obviously those are when the college coaches come out, and we got, you know, 5 or 6 other events on top of that. That's it.
Went to the seminar. I'll be telling them, man, y'all better vet these programs or vet the trainer, like you need to vet this thing out or ask people.
But then I think this pinpoint, when did the trainer thing really like start doing it? Because that, you know, I mean, we didn't need.
But we had him late. We had them late.
Yeah.
He's about Honey. Yes, listen, the best. Like he was training like Alani Moore and Big Joe back then on Premier State. Yeah, so
yeah,
it's not a lot. It's just a lot more.
It's our generation. It's our generation because we got it late, right? And so since we got it late, we've been trying to implement it into our kids early. Like no good deed go unpunished, right? That's in the Bible, right? And I think we started off with the intentions of just trying to help, but then it never got any balance to it. And now it's just out of control. And now, you know, if you got a good social media following,
Yeah,
Right.
I was gonna say
Then
you might just be paying for the highlight of the training.
there you go.
Training.
Right. And now
Was seen some of
little Johnny from the Maryland Nuggets got a highlight tape off his training, and now mommy and daddy is showing it to everybody, but he trash in the game. This a fact.
Or you training, and then there's the flip side to that. Okay, we're gonna pay for, like you made a comment earlier and you said, take a year off. Well, it's certain ages I don't agree with that, because like once you're in high school, I don't think you could take a summer off because you're impacting your recruiting.
So okay,
But
I'm gonna ask you that. Go ahead, finish.
okay, but for training purposes, depending on what your skill set is, I do understand that.
Okay.
I do understand that. And are you training? What are you working on? And I tell the players too, is your trainer coming to the games?
Yeah.
And can your trainer help you? Can y'all incorporate defense in the next training session? Because now everybody wants to do 1, 2, 3, dribble combo move, hezzy, but they don't want to play no defense. Because they don't want to be on the other end on the highlight playing defense, and then they touch earth, as in case. But you got to play defense, right? You got to play it. It's part of the game. People get dunked on, But that doesn't mean you don't go up for the block.
So now I got a question, right? So 14, 15U is a very important time, right? But I feel like the scholarships that are offered during that time, like if they are offered, is not many that get offered. It changes so much by the time they get to 10th and 11th grade. That's why I say, like, sometimes, and then here's the kicker. You got 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade. That game changes much, right? You'll have the kids that were 5'10", right, playing inside, and now they're really not an inside player, no, right? They're a wing or they're a guard. And so, like, they need to learn how to play that position. And sometimes they will end up still playing inside at 15U, right? And they never get out of that development of learning what's the next step for them, right? And then they get, by 16U, whoever was playing in that wing positions already ahead of them. And then they kind of get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
So that's my piece on that. So, like, the parent I was talking to, the kid was big, but like he's probably only like 5'10". Like, I'm like, oh, like, you need to learn some guard skills, thing. Like, you're not going to be playing the 2 or 3.
Well,
So like, you need to learn to play. And if your team got you playing the 3 or 4 again, I get it, like, you're trying to win, but there's a point it is where you need to understand what you need to do to get to that next step.
right.
And that's my only case.
No, I agree. For that case set, it's definitely solid. That would be the solid way to go.
It is. Oh, okay, I'll take it. So now our last question is handling success, right? Everybody's trying to get to that point, but once you get there, maintaining it is a different monster, right? What advice would you give to players and parents on, how to handle success?
So first thing is to stay humble. It seems really cliche. It seems, like it, but you have to start there. So if you're humble, even though you're achieving different things and you're successful, the humbleness is going to allow you to reflect back on what it took to get there. The humbleness is going to allow you to listen to those that helped you get there, because sometimes what happens is people get successful or think that they're successful, they lose sight of those that helped along the way or maybe gave advice and things like that. So those two things work hand in hand, I think, and the key to all of it is to continue to get better every day. So I used to tell my kids, like, never chase money. You want to chase success. But in that drive that you have in chasing success, don't lose yourself. But like, always stay grounded, stay humble, keep working. And that's going to always show. A lot of times we're looking at success and like, what is success to you? What is success to you? What is success to me? Like, success to me right now is like, I can go to my nephew's football game and, you know, take off to do it, or, you know, I have the means to, if they ask me for something, I feel like that's part of my success is family. First, on the basketball side with success, it's helping people get to their dreams. This is part of my success. So those things, but all in all, staying grounded, and that's going to keep you in a mindset of success stories, not just one ultimate success. Like there's like many successes that lead up to that, to when you stop, you know.
Okay. Now, I love that, man. Definitely thank you for coming on the show. This was definitely a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Finally got this done. You know, I think it was like 2 months ago we was trying to get it in, it ain't happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, I definitely appreciate your insights. Wish you guys much success during the live period.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And the healthy live period as well.
Yeah.
You know?
We want to finish strong.
Awesome. You got anything else? All right, cool, man. Well, man, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share.
Make sure you always stay game related.